Why did I get the trailer for this before the movie? It came out 4 months ago. I already know how awful it is. Where Do You Go, Bernadette comes from writer-director Richard Linklater and is based on the best-selling book by Maria Semple. It's about a Seattle architect and mother named Bernadette Fox, played by Cate Blanchett. She's experiencing a midlife crisis, trying to look for where to go next in her career, and being told that she's mentally ill. Right before a planned family trip to Antarctica, Bernadette goes missing, and her husband and daughter try to find her to figure out what's going on with her. I always look forward to the next film from Richard Linklater. He knows how to write real people with real conflicts and dilemmas. I've loved many of his past films, particularly Boyhood, Last Flight Flying, and the Before trilogy, hopefully +1 in a few years. And while this doesn't say much, Where Do You Go, Bernadette is probably his worst film. This is not a bad movie. I liked the second half, but for a Linklater film, it is uneven in some ways. This is evident in a few moments of acting. Now, the acting is predominantly excellent. Cate Blanchett is fantastic as this troubled mother. And turning in strong performances as well are Billy Crudup as her husband, and newcomer Emma Nelson as her daughter. Kristen Wiig's performance, though, is less consistent. She has a supporting role as a neighbor of Bernadette's, and she's good for the most part, but there's a moment where a car runs over her foot, and she plays the reaction as if she's in an Adam Sandler comedy. I don't know if it was Kristen Wiig getting distracted by her usual goofy nature, or a glitch in Linklater's direction, but it was oddly discordant. The story-defining plot point of Bernadette running away that every trailer and plot summary draws attention to actually doesn't start until halfway into this 2-hour and 10-minute movie. The first hour is mostly just her experiencing setback after setback and feeling misunderstood, and it gets pretty boring, a word that I didn't think I'd use to describe a Richard Linklater movie. That guy can make movies that are purely about people talking, and it never gets boring. When it does reach the point where Bernadette disappears, things get more interesting. There are poignant scenes of contemplation and realization for both her and her husband and daughter who are looking for her, and it all leads to a wholesome conclusion. And that second act contains lovely shots of glaciers in Greenland standing in as Antarctica. Reportedly, the original plan was to just use green screen for the Antarctic scenes, but Cate Blanchett made a push for more authenticity, so the production moved to Greenland. Even then, though, continuing through both halves is voiceover from the daughter that uses that kind of teenage philosophy, if you know what I'm talking about. While it's not grating or anything, it just feels more at home in a quirky coming-of-age flick. If I was at a get-together at a friend's house and we were going to pop in a movie, I, like most guys, would expect that we'd watch an action blockbuster or B-movie, but if by chance someone suggested a movie like Boyhood or Before Sunrise, I'd be all for it. Richard Linklater's movies are that rewatchable. Where Do You Go, Bernadette doesn't fall into that category, though. It's worth the viewing once, but nothing that I could watch any time and be completely fixated on the screen. It has some of the good elements that I've come to expect from a Linklater film. Most of the acting, some uplifting moments in the second half, and a few of the soundtrack cues. The song choice of Cyndi Lauper's Time After Time is very congruous. But it's tonally confused at times and takes an unnecessarily long time to grab your interest. Overall, it's fine, but for a Richard Linklater movie to be just fine is a pretty sizable disappointment. I'll give Where Do You Go, Bernadette a 61%. That's a wrap. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this review helpful. Like and share, subscribe for more. This is Pop Culture. I'm Alex Pop.